At my anniversary dinner, a waitress leaned close to me and whispered, "Ma'am, don't drink that." 10 minutes later, my daughter-in-law collapsed at the table. I sit here in my favorite corner booth at La Lumière, watching the candlelight dance across the crystal glasses. It's my 65th wedding anniversary, or would have been if Thomas were still here. 5 years gone, but I still celebrate our day. The waiter pours the Chateau Margaux we always ordered, and I smile at my son Darius across the table. "Mom, you didn't have to go all out," Darius says, loosening his tie. My boy, always uncomfortable with elegance despite growing up surrounded by it. "Nonsense," I reply, smoothing my simple black dress. "Your father would have insisted." Lorenda, my daughter-in-law, barely looks up from her phone. Her manicured nails tap against the screen as she sighs dramatically. "This place is so traditional. There's a new fusion restaurant downtown that's impossible to get into. I could have gotten us a table." I've learned to let her comments slide. 4 years of marriage to my son, and she still doesn't understand that some things matter more than what's trending. The waitress approaches, a young woman with observant eyes and careful movements. There's something familiar about her, though I can't place it. She sets down our appetizers with practiced grace, but as she leans over my shoulder, I feel her slip something into my hand. A folded napkin. My fingers close around it instinctively as she whispers, barely audible, "Ma'am, don't drink that." My heart skips, but I've spent decades in boardrooms learning to keep my face neutral. I glance at my wine glass, then at Lorenda, who's finally put her phone down and is reaching for her own glass. "Actually," I say smoothly, "Lorenda, I think they mixed up our glasses. You ordered the Margaux, didn't you?" "I asked for the Pinot." She rolls her eyes. "Does it matter? Wine is wine." "To some people," I murmur, switching our glasses with a grandmother's gentle insistence. "But you have such refined taste. You should have what you ordered." She preens at the compliment, taking a long sip. I pretend to drink from mine, letting the liquid barely touch my lips. The conversation continues, Darius talking about his work at the firm, Lorenda interrupting to mention some gala she wants to attend. I unfold the napkin in my lap, glancing down. 3 words in hurried handwriting, poisoned. "Trust me." My blood runs cold, but I force myself to laugh at something Darius says. The waitress, Naomi, her name tag reads, hovers nearby, refilling water glasses with shaking hands. "Mom, you're not drinking your wine," Darius observes. "Oh, I'm pacing myself," I say lightly. At my age, that's when Lorenda's glass slips from her fingers. The crystal shatters against the marble floor as she clutches her throat, eyes wide with panic. Her perfect red lips part in a soundless scream before she collapses, her body convulsing. "Lorenda!" Darius drops to his knees beside her. "Someone call 911. The restaurant erupts in chaos. Diners stand, phones appear, someone shouts for a doctor. I remain seated, my hands steady on the table, watching as my daughter-in-law writhes on the floor. The wine I was meant to drink spreads across the marble like blood. Naomi appears at my elbow. "Ma'am, are you all right?" I meet her eyes, those familiar eyes, and suddenly I know. "You're Rosalie's granddaughter." She nods quickly. "She worked for you for 30 years. Told me stories about the real Rebecca Cole. I recognized you the moment you walked in, even though." She glances at my modest dress, my simple jewelry. "Even though you don't look like what people expect." The paramedics burst through the doors, surrounding Lorenda. Darius looks up at me, his face stricken. "Mom, what happened?" "She was fine, and then." I rise slowly, my mind racing through the past months. The unexplained headaches. The dizzy spells. The way food sometimes tasted off when Lorenda prepared it. The way she always insisted on making my evening tea. "I don't know," I lie, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "But we'll find out." At the hospital, The waiting room fluorescent lights make everything look harsh and unforgiving. Darius paces while I sit perfectly still, the napkin still hidden in my purse. A detective arrives. Mason Carter, according to his badge. He's got the weathered look of someone who's seen too much. Mrs. Cole, I understand you were dining with your daughter-in-law when she collapsed?
Yes.
And you ordered the wine? I did. The Chateau Margaux. My late husband's favorite. His pen pauses over his notepad. But Mrs. Lorenda Cole drank from your glass? We switched. She mentioned preferring the Margaux, so I offered to trade. I meet his eyes steadily. Is she going to be all right? The doctors are working on it. Mrs. Cole, I have to ask, did you notice anything unusual about the wine? The taste? The smell? I barely touched mine. Truth, wrapped in omission. He studies me for a long moment. We'll need to test both glasses, of course. And we'll need to speak with the restaurant staff. After he leaves, Darius slumps beside me. Mom, this is insane. Who would want to hurt Lorenda? I take his hand, feeling the weight of secrets I've carried for decades. My son, my brilliant, trusting son, who sees the best in everyone. Who fell in love with a woman who saw only dollar signs when she looked at him. I don't know, I repeat, though pieces are clicking into place like tumblers in a lock. Hours pass. Finally, a doctor emerges. She's stable. It was definitely poisoning, something called ethylene glycol, commonly found in antifreeze. She's lucky if she'd consumed more. Darius buries his face in his hands. I comfort him while my mind works. Ethylene glycol. Sweet tasting. Easy to hide in wine. The kind of poison someone might use if they wanted a death to look like kidney failure in an elderly woman. The kind that would be blamed on age, on natural causes. Can we see her? Darius asks. She's sedated, but yes. Family only. We follow him down sterile hallways. In the room, Lorenda lies pale against white sheets, machines beeping around her. For once, she looks vulnerable. Young. I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. Darius takes her hand, whispering apologies for something that isn't his fault. I stand by the window, looking out at the city lights, thinking about the empire I built and the lengths people will go to steal it. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Naomi. I slip out while Darius keeps vigil. In the hospital cafeteria, Naomi waits at a corner table, still in her server's uniform. How did you know? I ask without preamble. She glances around nervously. I've been watching her for weeks. My grandmother, before she died, she told me to look out for you. Said you were too kind for your own good, that people would try to take advantage. Rosalie always worried too much. Did she? Naomi leans forward. Mrs. Cole, I work part-time at Cole Elon Boutique. The one on Madison. Your daughter-in-law comes in all the time. My boutique. My flagship store. Of course. She doesn't know who I am, I say. It's not a question. No one does. You've hidden it too well. But Mrs. Cole, the things she says. She brags about marrying into old money. Says her mother-in-law is sweet but clueless, living off her dead husband's pension. She jokes about how you'll probably leave everything to charity because you're too naive to know better. Each word is a small cut, but I've endured worse. Naomi continues, last month, I heard her on the phone. She was asking someone about inheritance law. About what happens if someone dies without updating their will. And then tonight. She shudders. I saw her at the bar when the sommelier was preparing your wine. She was there for just a moment, adjusting her bracelet, but something felt wrong. The way she watched you when she came back to the table. You risked your job warning me. My grandmother would have haunted me if I hadn't. She manages a weak smile. Mrs. Cole, there's more. At the boutique, She's been stealing. Selling our pieces online. Pocketing cash sales. Mr. Harris has been documenting it, but he's afraid to act without knowing who to report to. Harris. My loyal manager, who's run that store for 15 years. Who knows exactly who I am and has kept my secret without question. Thank you, I tell Naomi. Your grandmother would be proud. Back at the hospital, I find Detective Carter interviewing the restaurant staff. He pulls me aside. Mrs. Cole, we've reviewed the security footage. Your daughter-in-law was indeed near the bar area shortly before the wine was served. And he hesitates. We found something interesting in her purse. He shows me an evidence bag containing a small vial, nearly empty. We're testing it now, but preliminary results suggest it's the same substance found in the wine. Mrs. Cole, I need to ask, has your daughter-in-law ever had access to your home? Your food. The room tilts slightly. Those headaches. The fatigue I'd attributed to grief and age. She and my son come for dinner every Sunday, I say quietly. Lorenda always insists on helping in the kitchen. She makes my tea. His expression hardens. We'll need to test everything in your home. And Mrs. Cole? You might want to see a doctor yourself. If she's been poisoning you slowly. The next morning, I sit in my own doctor's office, watching her face grow increasingly grave as she reviews my blood work. Rebecca, these levels. How long have you been experiencing symptoms? 6 months. Maybe more. You're lucky. Much longer, and the damage could have been irreversible. As it is. She shakes her head. Someone has been very carefully, very deliberately, trying to kill you. I leave with a treatment plan and a burning clarity. In my car, I call Harris. It's time, I say simply. Thank God, he breathes. Mrs. Cole, she was in again yesterday, even with everything happening. Bold as brass, telling customers that her mother-in-law is dying. That she'll be running things soon. Is she scheduled to work tomorrow? Yes. Noon shift. Perfect. Have everyone ready. At home, I stand in my walk-in closet, running my fingers along clothes I never wear anymore. Designer pieces from my own collections, hidden away like everything else about who I really am. Thomas used to laugh at my need for secrecy, but he understood. We'd both come from nothing. We knew how money changed people, how it twisted relationships. I thought keeping it hidden would protect Darius. Let him find love for himself, not his inheritance. Instead, it made him a target for someone who thought she was hunting small game, never realizing she was stalking a lioness. The police have cordoned off my kitchen, taking samples of everything. They found traces in my tea, my honey, even my vitamins. Lorenda had been patient, methodical. A little here, a little there. Building up slowly so it would look natural when I finally succumbed. Darius arrives as they're leaving, his face haggard. Mom, what's going on? Why are the police here? I lead him to the living room, pour him a scotch from the bottle I know is safe. How's Lorenda? Awake. Angry. She's demanding to speak to lawyers, says the restaurant poisoned her, wants to sue. He trails off, seeing my expression. Mom. Darius, what do you know about what I do? About our finances. He shifts uncomfortably. You live off Dad's pension and investments. You volunteer at the library. You've always been modest. And Lorenda? What does she think? She. He can't meet my eyes. She thinks you should sell this house. Move somewhere smaller. She says you don't need all this space, that the money could be better used. By her. Mom. I pull out my phone, show him a photo. It's me, 30 years younger, cutting the ribbon at Cole Elon's first boutique. Do you know who this is? He squints. She looks like you, but that's the Cole Elon opening. Lorenda has this picture in our bedroom. She's obsessed with that brand, says she's going to run it someday. His voice dies as understanding dawns. I open my laptop, pull up the corporate structure. My name, buried under holding companies and trusts, but there. Rebecca Cole, founder and majority shareholder. Net worth that would make his eyes water. Mom. His voice cracks like he's 16 again. I built this company from nothing. One sewing machine in a studio apartment. Your father and I, we worked 18-hour days to make it happen. But when you were born, I stepped back. I wanted you to have a normal childhood. To make friends who liked you for you. To fall in love with someone who saw your heart, not your trust fund. He's crying now, silent tears rolling down his cheeks. Lorenda has been poisoning me for months. The wine at dinner was meant to be the final dose. If Naomi hadn't warned me, if I hadn't switched the glasses. No. But it's not denial. It's horror. The tea. She always made your tea. Said it was the least she could do for her sweet mother-in-law. The police found evidence in her purse. And at the boutique, she's been stealing. Preparing for a future where she inherits everything through you. He stands abruptly, paces to the window. I'm such a fool. You're trusting. There's a difference. What kind of person marries someone planning to murder their mother? His voice breaks. What kind of man doesn't see it? A good man. A loving son who believes the best of people. I join him at the window. That's not a flaw, Darius. But it is a vulnerability. The next day, I dress carefully. Not the designer pieces hidden in my closet, but not my usual modest wear either. Something in between. Something that says I'm done hiding. Harris meets me at the boutique's back entrance. She's here. Holding court at the main counter, telling everyone about her tragic experience. The staff. Ready. They've been waiting for this for a long time, Mrs. Cole. I enter through the front. Just another customer. The boutique hasn't changed much in 30 years. I insisted on maintaining the original aesthetic. Cream marble, gold fixtures, that specific shade of blush pink on the walls that I mixed myself. Lorenda stands behind the counter, gesturing dramatically to a cluster of employees. And then I just collapsed. The doctors said I could have died. My mother-in-law feels terrible, of course. She's so old, she probably didn't notice the wine had gone bad. Excuse me, I interrupt. I'm looking for something special. She turns, her fake concern morphing into disdain as she takes in my appearance. Oh, Rebecca, what are you doing here? Shopping. Is that allowed? She laughs, that tinkling false sound I've endured for 4 years. Of course, but this isn't really your kind of place, is it? We have a sister store downtown that carries more practical items. I see. And what exactly is my kind of place? You know what I mean. She waves dismissively. These pieces are investments. They're for women who understand fashion, who move in certain circles. No offense, but you've always been more homey. The staff shifts uncomfortably. They all know who I am. Harris wouldn't have hired them otherwise. But they're playing their parts perfectly. Show me your best piece, I say simply. Rebecca, really. The price is here. Show me. She sighs dramatically, pulling out a gown from my first couture collection. This is $40,000. It's hand-beaded, one of a kind. The kind of thing I'll be wearing to galas when she catches herself. When Darius and I expand our social circle. May I see it closer? You can look, but please don't touch. The oils from your skin. I take the dress, holding it up to the light. The beading is exquisite. But there's a flaw here, in the bodice construction. Excuse me? This is couture. There are no flaws. Here. I point to a nearly invisible seam. The tension is wrong. It'll pull within a year, maybe 2. Whoever made this was rushing. How dare you? Lorenda snatches the dress back. You don't know anything about fashion. You wear the same 3 cardigans on rotation. This is a Rebecca Cole original. Do you even know who that is? I've heard the name. Of course you have. Everyone has. She's a legend. Built this empire from nothing. And someday, her eyes glitter with greed. Someday someone with actual vision will run it. Someone who understands what it means to be truly elegant. Someone like you? Well, I do work here. I understand the brand better than anyone. She leans in conspiratorially, though her voice carries. Between you and me, the current leadership is getting stale. Old-fashioned. They need fresh blood. Interesting perspective. I turn to examine a display of handbags. Tell me, what would you change? She launches into a tirade. Cheaper materials to increase profits, influencer partnerships instead of craftsmanship, mass production over artistry. Every word is a knife to my heart. This is what she plans for my life's work. And the founder? What would she think of these changes? Lorenda scoffs. She's probably dead. Or too old to care. These ancient fashion houses always cling to the past. That's why they need people like me to drag them into the future. Mrs. Lorenda, Harris appears, his timing impeccable. There's a discrepancy in yesterday's sales. Not now, she snaps. Can't you see I'm with a customer? Actually, it's urgent. The deposit doesn't match the receipts. Again. Her face flushes. We'll discuss this later. I'm afraid we need to discuss it now. He produces a folder. These are the forensic accounting reports. You've stolen over $200,000 in the past year. That's ridiculous. Rebecca, tell him. She turns to me, expecting support from her doddering mother-in-law. Tell him what? That you've been poisoning me for 6 months? That you tried to kill me at our anniversary dinner? Or should I tell him about the antifreeze in my tea? The color drains from her face. You switched the glasses. Yes. You knew. Thanks to someone with more integrity than you'll ever possess. She backs away, knocking into a display. This is entrapment. You can't prove anything. The police found the vial in your purse. They have your fingerprints on the wine glass at the bar. They have records of you purchasing ethylene glycol. And now we have evidence of embezzlement. I step closer. You thought you were stealing from a weak old woman. You were wrong. Darius will never believe. Darius knows everything. He's at the lawyer's office right now, filing for divorce. She lunges at me, nails aimed at my face. Harris and 2 security guards restrain her as she screams obscenities. The mask is completely off now, the sophisticated daughter-in-law replaced by something feral and desperate. You ruined everything, she shrieks. I worked for 4 years. 4 years of pretending to care about your boring stories, your pathetic grief. Do you know how hard it was to smile while making your tea? To pretend I loved your son when all I wanted was my money. It should be mine. I earned it. Putting up with this charade, with him pouring at me, with you and your sanctimonious. That's enough. Detective Carter enters with 2 officers. Lorenda Cole, you're under arrest for attempted murder, embezzlement, and fraud. As they cuff her, she spits at my feet. You'll die alone. Just like your husband. I watch them lead her away, feeling nothing but tired relief. Around me, the staff begins to applaud, slowly at first, then with enthusiasm. Mrs. Cole, one young designer says tearfully, we've waited so long to meet you properly. I spend the rest of the afternoon with my employees. They show me their work, their dreams, their innovations that Lorenda had dismissed. I see Rosalie's granddaughter's influence in their reverence. She must have told them stories. Harris walks me out as the sun sets. What now, Mrs. Cole? Now I stop hiding. I pause at my car. And I think it's time to promote from within. That young designer, Marie, she has vision. Real vision. Not the kind that comes from greed. And your son? Darius needs time. But he's stronger than he knows. We both learned hard lessons about trust. That evening, I find Darius in my study, going through photo albums. Pictures of Thomas and me in our early days, working side by side, building dreams with our bare hands. I remember this, he says, pointing to a photo of me at a sewing machine, pregnant with him. You told me it was from your secretary job. Half truth. I was my own secretary. He laughs wetly. How did I not see it? Any of it. Because I taught you to see the best in people. That's not something to regret. She never loved me. No, I agree gently. But that's her loss. You have so much love to give, Darius. Don't let her poison that too. He closes the album. The lawyer says the divorce will be straightforward, given the circumstances. And after? I want to learn. He meets my eyes. About the company. About what you and Dad built. I want to earn my place, not inherit it. That's my boy. We sit in comfortable silence, the weight of secrets finally lifted. My phone buzzes, a text from Naomi. Thank you for the scholarship. I won't let you down. I show Darius. I'm paying for her design school. Rosalie's granddaughter. The waitress who saved your life. The young woman who risked everything to do what was right. He nods slowly. Maybe I could mentor her? When she graduates. I may not know fashion, but I know business. And there it is, the man I raised, emerging from the rubble of betrayal. Still kind, still generous, but wiser now. The trial is swift. Lorenda pleads guilty to avoid a longer sentence, though she maintains she was driven to it by my deception. The media has a field day when my identity is revealed, secret billionaire poisoned by gold-digging daughter-in-law. I hate the sensationalism, but it serves a purpose. Other vultures will think twice now. On the day of sentencing, I wear Cole Elan couture for the first time in public in 20 years. Not for vanity, but as armor. As declaration. Lorenda looks smaller in her prison jumpsuit, her perfect makeup replaced by dark circles and bitterness. Any last words? The judge asks. She looks at me. I hope you choke on your money. 25 years, the judge declares. With possibility of parole in 15. As they lead her away, I feel Thomas's presence. He would have been heartbroken by all this, but proud too. Proud that I protected what we built. Proud that I saved our son. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarm. I've prepared a statement. Cole Elan was built on love, integrity, and craftsmanship. It will continue to represent those values. My husband and I believed fashion should elevate the human spirit, not diminish it through greed and deception. That legacy will endure. Mrs. Cole, one reporter shouts. How do you feel about your daughter-in-law trying to kill you? I feel sorry for her. She had everything, a loving husband, a welcoming family, a good job. But it wasn't enough. Greed is a poison that destroys from within. She drank her own venom, literally and figuratively. 6 months later, I stand in my boutique, our boutique, watching Naomi present her first collection to the senior designers. Her hands shake slightly, but her voice is strong. She's incorporated elements of her grandmother's Caribbean heritage into classic Cole Elan silhouettes. It's fresh but respectful, innovative but true to our core. Darius stands beside me, taking notes. He's thrown himself into learning the business, starting from the ground up. Yesterday, I caught him in the stockroom, learning to properly steam delicate fabrics. The employees respect him more for it. She's good, he murmurs about Naomi. She's better than good. She's hungry for the right reasons. Like you were. Like we were. Your father and I. He squeezes my hand. I'm dating someone. I raise an eyebrow. A teacher. Elementary school. I met her at grief counseling. He smiles sheepishly. I made sure she Googled me first. Full disclosure. Good. She says she doesn't care about the money. That she just wants someone kind. Do you believe her? I'm learning to trust my instincts again. But yes. He pauses. I'd like you to meet her. When you're ready. I'd like that. The presentation ends to enthusiastic applause. Naomi finds us after, glowing with accomplishment. Mrs. Cole, thank you again for… No. I stop her. Thank you. For reminding me that integrity still exists. For being brave when it mattered. She hugs me impulsively, then blushes. Sorry, I never apologize for genuine emotion. I hug her back. Your grandmother would be so proud. That evening, I visit Thomas's grave. I bring his favorite wine, properly tested this time, and pour 2 glasses. We did it, I tell the headstone. We protected what mattered. Our son is finding his way. The company is in good hands. And I'm not hiding anymore. The wind rustles through the cemetery trees, and I swear I hear his laugh. Remember what you used to say? I continue. That money is just fabric. It's what you make with it that counts. I forgot that for a while. Hid it away like it was something shameful. But you were right. It's just material. The real value is in how we use it. I think about Lorenda, starting her prison sentence. Even now, I don't hate her. Hatred requires energy I'd rather spend on building, creating, loving. She'll have 25 years to think about what she threw away for money that was never going to fulfill her anyway. I'm redesigning the mentorship program, I tell Thomas. Full scholarships for kids like we were. Hungry, talented, but no connections. Naomi's going to help run it. The sun sets, painting the sky in shades of pink that match my boutique walls. I pour the rest of the wine onto the earth, a libation for my love. Until next anniversary, I whisper. Back home, I find Darius cooking dinner, something he's taken up since the divorce. The kitchen smells like rosemary and possibility. I've been thinking, he says, not turning from the stove. About what you said. That trust isn't a flaw, just a vulnerability. Yes. I don't want to lose that part of myself. The part that believes in people. He plates our meal with surprising elegance. But I want to be smarter about it. More like you. I wasn't smart. I was scared. There's a difference. We eat in companionable silence, and I realize this is the first meal in months that doesn't taste like fear. No more checking for bitter undertones. No more wondering if this bite will be my last. Mom, Darius says, eventually. I love you. I love you too. And I'm glad you're not dead. I laugh, really laugh, for the first time since that anniversary dinner. Me too, son. Me too. Later, I sit in my study, reviewing applications for the mentorship program. Hundreds of young dreamers, each with their own story of ambition and struggle. I think about the girl I was, pregnant and poor, sewing until my fingers bled because I believed in something bigger than circumstances. My phone rings. Harris. Mrs. Cole, I thought you should know. The Madison Boutique just had its best quarter ever. The staff is energized. Customers are responding to the new transparency. And Lorenda's replacement? Marie is exceeding all expectations. She's already identified 3 junior designers for promotion. Good. Trust begets trust. After we hang up, I walk through my house, our house, Thomas's and mine. No longer checking for threats, just remembering. Every room holds memories of building something from nothing, of choosing love over fear. In my bedroom, I open the safe I've kept locked for 5 years. Inside, along with documents and jewelry, is a letter Thomas wrote before his surgery. The one that didn't save him. My darling Rebecca, it reads. If you're reading this, then I've gone ahead to set up shop in whatever comes next. Don't you dare hide after I'm gone. Don't you dare make yourself small. You are a force of nature, my love. Act like it. I refold the letter, put it back. Tomorrow, I have a board meeting where I'll officially step back into my role as CEO. Next week, I'm launching a foundation in Thomas's name. Next month, Darius's teacher is coming for dinner. Life. Messy, dangerous, beautiful life. The doorbell rings. Through the peephole, I see Naomi holding a garment bag. Mrs. Cole, she says breathlessly when I open the door. I know it's late, but I finished the piece. The one inspired by my grandmother. I wanted you to be the first to see. I let her in, watch as she unveils a dress that takes my breath away. It's everything Cole Elon stands for: craftsmanship, heritage, innovation, but with her unique voice woven through every stitch. It's magnificent, I tell her honestly. I call it truth, because that's what saved us both. Your truth, hidden all those years. And the truth my grandmother taught me, that good people deserve protection. I touch the fabric, feeling the hours of work, the love sewn into every seam. We'll feature it in the spring collection. Really? Really? But Naomi, remember something. Talent will take you far, but integrity will take you further. Never lose that moral compass that made you risk everything to save an old woman you barely knew. She nods solemnly. Never. After she leaves, I stand before my mirror, holding the dress against myself. I see Rebecca Cole, not the widow, not the victim, not the secret billionaire. Just a woman who built something beautiful and almost lost it to someone who confused price with value. My reflection smiles back. She looks like someone who's finally ready to stop hiding. The next morning, I wake without checking my tea for poison. I dress in my own designs. I drive myself to my own company. I walk through the front door instead of sneaking in the back. Good morning, Mrs. Cole, the receptionist says brightly. Welcome back. Good morning, I reply. It's good to be home. And it is. It really is. In my office, my real office, not the small one I used to hide in, I find flowers from the staff. The card reads, "To the woman who taught us that elegance isn't about what you wear, but how you wear your truth." I think about Lorenda, waking up in her cell, surrounded by the consequences of her choices. I hope, somehow, she finds her way to a different truth. That real worth can't be stolen or inherited or married into. It has to be built, stitch by stitch, choice by choice. But that's her journey now. Mine continues here, in the light, with my son rebuilding beside me and young dreamers like Naomi carrying the torch forward. Thomas was right. I am a force of nature. And I'm done apologizing for it. The intercom buzzes. Mrs. Cole? The design team is ready for your review. I smooth my dress, my design, my creation, my truth, and stand. Send them in, I say. Let's build something beautiful. The design team files in, a mix of seasoned artists and fresh talent. Marie leads them, her confidence tempered with respect. They spread their portfolios across my conference table, our next collection, the first one created under my open leadership. The theme, Marie begins, is revelation. Pieces that transform, that show hidden depths. Inspired by, well, by you, Mrs. Cole. I examine each design carefully. A coat that reverses from simple wool to embroidered silk. A dress with secret pockets containing handwritten affirmations. A handbag that unfolds to reveal a hidden compartment painted with the owner's initials. We wanted to honor the idea that true luxury isn't always visible, Marie continues. That sometimes the most valuable things are hidden until the right moment. My throat tightens. Thomas would have loved this. There's one more piece, Naomi says quietly. She's been standing in the back, still finding her place among the senior designers. If I may. She unveils a final sketch, a wedding dress. But not just any wedding dress. The outer layer is simple, almost austere. But underneath, revealed only when the bride moves, is a cascade of hand-painted silk telling a story. Each panel shows a different scene, two hands working side by side, a couple building something together, a family growing, a legacy continuing. I call it the truth beneath, she says. For brides who understand that marriage isn't about the wedding, it's about the life you build after. I have to sit down. It's perfect. It's everything I believe about love, about partnership, about the real work that comes after the fairy tale. Production will be expensive, Marie warns. Each dress would need to be custom painted with the couple's own story. Then we'll charge accordingly, I say. And for every one we sell, we'll donate one to a bride who can't afford her dream dress. Love shouldn't be limited by income. The room erupts in excited chatter. This is what I missed while hiding, the collaborative energy, the shared vision, the joy of creating something meaningful. Mrs. Cole, Harris appears in the doorway. There's someone here to see you. Says it's urgent. I find Detective Carter in the lobby, looking uncomfortable among the mannequins and marble. Mrs. Cole, I apologize for the intrusion. But I thought you should hear this in person. He shifts his weight. Lorenda Cole was attacked in prison yesterday. She's in the infirmary. My blood chills. Is she? She'll recover. But she's asking to see you. Says she has something important to tell you. You're under no obligation, of course. I consider. The woman tried to kill me. Nearly succeeded. But something in Carter's expression suggests there's more. I'll go, I decide. The prison is everything Cole Elon isn't. Gray, harsh, hopeless. Lorenda looks smaller still in the infirmary bed, her face bruised, her arm in a cast. Come to gloat, she asks, but the venom is gone. I came because you asked. She stares at the ceiling. I wasn't the only one. What? The poisoning. I wasn't the only one who wanted you dead. She turns to face me, and for the first time, I see fear in her eyes. Someone else was funding it. Pushing me. Promising me that once you were gone, they'd make sure I inherited everything, even with the divorce. Who? I don't know. They contacted me through encrypted messages. Professional. They knew about Cole Elon, about your real identity, about everything. They said you were a dinosaur holding back progress. That the company needed fresh leadership. My mind races. A corporate takeover disguised as family tragedy? The attack yesterday, she continues. The woman who jumped me said I failed. That I was supposed to finish the job. That now they'd have to handle things differently. Detective Carter needs to know this. I already told him. But Rebecca. She uses my name for the first time without mockery. Be careful. I may be a greedy bitch, but whoever's behind this, there's something worse. They're patient. I study her battered face. Why tell me? Because prison has a way of clarifying things. I poisoned you for money I thought would make me happy. But look where I am. Broken bones and 25 years of concrete. Maybe warning you balances the scales a little. It doesn't. I know. She closes her eyes. But it's all I have left to give. I leave the prison with more questions than answers. Carter promises to investigate, but encrypted messages are hard to trace. Someone wanted me dead badly enough to manipulate Lorenda, to use her greed as a weapon. Back at the office, I call an emergency board meeting. The 12 faces around the table represent decades of loyalty, or so I thought. There's been a development, I begin, explaining Lorenda's revelation. Someone in the corporate world wants Cole Elon badly enough to orchestrate murder. The room erupts in shocked voices. I watch each face carefully, looking for tells. But these are business people, trained in the art of the poker face. We need to review everyone with access, I continue. Every potential buyer we've turned down, every competitor who's approached us, every investor who's… Rebecca. The voice comes from the end of the table. Martin Ashford, my CFO for 15 years, stands slowly. It was me. The room goes silent. Not the poisoning, he clarifies quickly. I would never. But I did approach Lorenda. Encouraged her interest in the company. I thought if she inherited, she'd be easy to manipulate. To convince to sell. Why? My voice is steady, but my heart is breaking. Another betrayal. Because you're letting emotion cloud business judgment. This mentorship program, the charity initiatives, the insistence on handcrafting, we could triple profits with automation and offshore production. Cole Elon could be a global powerhouse instead of a boutique operation. It already is a global powerhouse. Just not the kind you want. The board agrees with me. He gestures around the table. Don't you? One by one, heads shake. My loyal board, the people Thomas and I chose carefully, stand with me. Martin's face crumbles as he realizes he's alone. You're finished here, I tell him. Security will escort you out. And Martin? If anything happens to me or my family, the authorities will know exactly where to look. He leaves in disgrace, but the damage is done. I've learned that threats can come from anywhere. Family, trusted colleagues, anyone blinded by greed. That night, I cooked dinner for Darius and his new girlfriend, Emma. She's everything Lorenda wasn't, warm, genuine, more interested in my stories than my stock portfolio. She teaches 7-year-olds, and her eyes light up when she talks about them. Mrs. Cole, she says over dessert, Darius told me about the mentorship program. I have a student, Aisha, who's always drawing dresses. Talented but from a struggling family. Could I bring her information? I say immediately. We start with young dreamers. Darius beams at her, and I see it, real love. The kind that builds rather than takes. After they leave, I sit in Thomas's chair, thinking about the threads that connect us all. Rosalie to Naomi. Me to Thomas. Our legacy to future generations. Even Lorenda, broken in prison, still tangled in the web. My phone rings. An unknown number. Mrs. Cole? The voice is electronically distorted. You survived one attempt. You won't survive another. Sell the company or… I hang up and call Carter immediately. Within an hour, my house is under police protection. But I refuse to hide again. The next morning, I hold a press conference. Cole Elon has been threatened, I announce to the gathered media. Someone wants to force a sale through intimidation. Let me be clear, this company will never be sold to anyone who values profit over people. We will continue our mission of creating beauty with integrity. And to whoever is behind these threats, I've survived poisoning, betrayal, and loss. I'm still standing. And I'm not going anywhere. The response is immediate. Orders flood in from customers showing support. Young designers apply in droves, wanting to be part of something that stands for principles. Even competitors reach out, offering security resources. But the best response comes from my staff. They organize themselves into a protective network, watching for threats, screening visitors, creating a human shield around the company we all love. A week later, the FBI arrests a corporate raider named Vincent Cross, Martin Ashford's silent partner. They'd planned to force a sale, gut the company, and sell off the pieces. Lorenda was just a convenient tool, her greed making her easy to manipulate. Greed is a poison that destroys from within, I tell the media when Cross is sentenced. But integrity is an antidote that heals. 6 months pass. The company thrives under transparent leadership. Naomi's designs win awards. Darius proposes to Emma with a ring he designed himself. Simple, elegant, real. The mentorship program produces its first graduates, including little Aisha, who at 7 years old presents me with a hand-drawn collection that shows more promise than designers twice her age. On Thomas's birthday, I launched the Cole Foundation properly. Not just fashion mentorship, but programs for anyone who dreams of building something beautiful. Culinary arts, woodworking, writing, any craft that requires dedication and love. We're not just preserving a fashion house, I tell the gathered crowd. We're preserving the idea that success means more than money, that what we build with our hands and hearts matters more than what we can steal or scheme. In the audience, I spot Naomi, now lead designer for our young couture line. Beside her, Darius and Emma, planning a wedding that will feature one of our custom story dresses. Around them, dozens of young people who've found their path through our programs. This is what Thomas and I built. Not just a company, but a community. Not just fashion, but family. That evening, I returned to La Lumiere, the restaurant where everything changed. The same corner booth, the same candles, but this time I'm surrounded by people who love me for who I am, not what I'm worth. A toast, Darius proposes, raising his glass. To Mom, who taught us that true elegance isn't about what you wear. It's about how you wear your truth. The table finishes in unison. We drink. Safely, carefully, joyfully. And I think about Lorenda, serving her time, learning too late that some things can't be stolen. About Martin and Cross, discovering that schemes built on greed always collapse. About Thomas, who knew that love and integrity were the only foundations worth building on. You know, Emma says thoughtfully, someone should write about this. About you, Mrs. Cole. The real story. Maybe someday, I agree. When I'm done living it. But the truth is, I'll never be done. Every day brings new challenges, new dreamers to nurture, new beauty to create. The poisoned wine meant to end my story became the catalyst for finally telling it truthfully. I look around the table at my chosen family, blood and beyond, and raise my own glass. To truth, I say simply, may we always have the courage to wear it. And we do. Stitch by stitch, choice by choice, day by day. We do. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If my story touched your heart or made you reflect on how life's journey is, please share it with someone who needs this reminder. And don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss a new story that inspires, teaches, and reminds us that we are not alone. Red Heart.